Okay, what's up YouTubers? Back with another video. I think this video will be interesting by the time you watch all of it, right? So in this video, I'll be talking about the top 5 things that have top 5 craziest thing that had happened in my life that I will never explain because once it once it was set on YouTube, then it probably didn't get a lot of likes and probably you're probably gonna be questionable, like why is this so crazy? I mean, it'll be all explanation in this video. So I'll be explaining again. Top 5 craziest things that had ever happened in my life. And you're probably not gonna believe it. Probably not. But let's just get it over with and you can comment below like the way I share you my 5 craziest like stories in my life or your craziest stories in your life. So let's get into the top 5 things that have happened in my life. That is unbelievable. Okay, so the number 5 on my list in craziness in my life. So the number 5 is that I accidentally fell off the bike back in 2016, right? Yeah, so I think around February 2016, I was trying to bike for at least 100 miles, right? And then I try and bike as long as I can. I mean, 100 miles a time, and then around 60 when I rode my bike for about 60 or 61 miles. In about 4 hours later, I actually got too tired and I bumped into the car that is parked. I was biking on the bike lane and the car was parked and I hit the cars hit the car, and then I fell off the bike and I scraped my knee. I think that, see, this is from the bike accident 2 years ago. I even scraped my knee, and it takes about maybe 1 or 2 weeks for my knees to get back to normal. I think because my body healed so fast that I didn't even need to go to a doctor or yeah, I mean, falling off the bike into the road, man, is kind of like a serious injury, because most people who fall off from the bike to the road can probably end up going to the doctor or possibly to the hospital because it does some serious damage to the skin or to your leg or arm. So even some part of my legs get scraped and part of my arm gets scraped. So that was one of the crazy things that had happened in my life. And I didn't expect it to probably heal fast, but my body does heal pretty fast. Well, which is lucky for me because my body's pretty strong. I mean, that was a crazy attempt, man. Biking for 100 miles, and the bike goes pretty slow, only about maybe 10 or average 15 miles an hour, and fell off the bike. Bam, man. That hurts really bad. Well, there's no problem. If you see a parked car parking bike lane, sometimes people can just open the car and hit the biker. Let's say this is the car, right? And let's say this is the biker, right? Biker there, and people open the car and then slam and hit. That can also hurt the bikers too. So I gotta be a little more careful and try not to over exercise. Yeah, I was too tired, so I couldn't pay attention to the road, and there's one illegal thing that I did that actually got me injured for sure. I was biking in the opposite direction of the traffic. So let's say that if you're heading south, then you should bike in the direction of south. But I think when you want to bike on the road, you should bike with the traffic. Don't ever bike against traffic, because that's when you will more likely get into a collision. Hard to explain, but try my best here. Okay, so let's get into the number 4 like craziest thing of my life. Here is number 4. So number 4 on my list is that I actually lost about 30-40 pounds so far. I mean, I was a little overweight. Yeah, I mean, I lose about over like 30 pounds, possibly, right? I think I used to weigh around like 197, 198. I think my maximum weight was 200 pounds, right? I used to weigh almost 200 pounds, but then I dropped to like 160, like 8 or 167, mainly because I run around and exercise a lot. That is pretty insane, right? You drop 30 pounds in like, I don't know how many, like 4 or 5 months, mainly because of too much exercise. And also, I do go on a diet sometimes, but I'm probably gonna lose a lot more weight, like due to some other reasons. So I'll be giving you a list of reasons why I want to lose weight. The reason why I want to lose weight is because I want to be faster and I want to stay healthier. Because the lighter you are, the faster you run, right? For a longer distance. So yeah, I went from astonishing 200 pound or nearly 200 pound to under 170 pound. But my normal weight is like 108, but now ever since I lost about 30 to 20 pounds by just exercising too much and eat less, then my weight becomes around 170s now. But it could get lower. But sometimes being too skinny is not good either. Just like, for instance, my cousin, right? My cousin, Bo, he's currently 12 years old, but he's pretty skinny. Because he lost about, I think he used to weigh like 120 pounds, but now he only weighs 100 because he's trying to diet himself and he just want to make sure that he's not overweight. He used to be overweight when he was young, but not anymore. So I should not go too skinny, man. That's not going to be healthy. Especially when you're a child, because your body needs to grow, but it's going to be a problem. Well, I'm not too skinny. I'm just right, but hopefully I don't get too skinny or else I'll be too weak. So yeah. So number 4 list, losing around 30 to 40 pounds. And I'm still continuing to lose weight. Anyway, here's the number 3 on the list. The number 3 top craziness in my life. And here it is. So I think so the third craziest thing I ever heard in my life, or that had happened to me in my life, is that I took a really, really difficult professor, the most difficult professor in a lonely college. So, yeah, I'll give you a lot of description about how tough this professor is. Like, this professor literally doesn't want you to pass his course. He literally doesn't. He literally doesn't care about his student. I mean, yeah. One more suggestion before I explain about my professor that I took from last semester. It was so stressful, but I mean, if you plan like to sign up class or take a professor, I highly recommend you go to ratemyprofessor.com. It's a very helpful website that you get to rate your professor. I mean, if you go to ratemyprofessor.com and read the rate of professor, you will know how good the professor is. Just to avoid some very bad professors or very difficult professors. That's what ratemyprofessor.com means. Yeah, so I think I know what that is, but I didn't use that advantage. And because I didn't look up how tough this professor is, but by the time I check on my RateMyProfessor.com about this professor, he's really difficult in everything. And I actually definitely picked him without knowing he's actually tough. Because if I check my RateProfessor.com before I sign up that professor, I will not have to go through this trouble, man. But anyway, this professor is so difficult that he makes everything tough on you. I mean, he won't let you like take a picture of his lecture. This is the most difficult professor I've ever heard, and you guys gonna hear this how ridiculous he is. He's a very tough grader. He gives a lot of homework. I mean, tough grader gives a lot of homework, and let me think. So he also have a very short lecture, which he doesn't teach that much, and expect most students to be individual, and also he's a very picky professor too. Like, he wants you to do in certain way. Lot of assignment, very difficult assignment. I mean, yeah, this is why I have to drop out this college. I mean drop out from like English 101A, because this professor was so ridiculously hard. Like, I get tutor and help from everywhere I can, and I still get like a D in his class, and he just wants me to drop. This is the main reason why, man, this professor is so difficult. I get like a D. I mean, I should be earning at least a B or an A, but not like a D. It's ridiculous. Well, mainly because he knows that I don't do well in reading and writing, and I don't write like at the 101A level, mainly because of my autism, right? I think my autism make me really weak in English. I talk about my English class, my English professor. I can give you example like how picky he is when it comes to grading. Like, for example, like I just put my name in the wrong place, and he already like subtract 5 points off of it, and I was like, uh-oh. I mean, yeah, he subtract like every little errors by a lot, man, by like more than like 3 or 4%. Or he subtract like 5% for every little single error, and he points. Yeah, he's very critical when it comes to when people make errors on their writing and reading. I mean, he does give some like pop quiz and labs like any other English teacher, but he is so difficult. I think the reason why this professor is so difficult is because he just wants to grade less student, right? And he just only wants the smart one to stay in his class, and he wants to kick out or get rid of all the student that doesn't do well in English. Yeah, so I mean, he has to do less grade, mean less work for him, mean that's good for him. But I highly recommend it. If you're a professor, you probably should at least care for your student, so that way student can give good ratings about you. Because if you don't care about students, they'll get bad ratings. I mean, I read on RateMyProfessor.com about this professor, this very difficult professor in Ohlone College, and yeah, you're right, he clearly does not care about his student. And even if you're a little late or something, he just like automatically like fail you. And also he hardly does lecture, and he hardly he does cancel a lot of his like his class sessions too. Does cancel a lot. Feel like he doesn't want to teach. What a terrible professor. Anyway, this is why I have to retake English 101A with a different professor, which is the opposite of the other difficult professor that I took from last semester. I mean, this professor that I'm currently taking right now, he's really nice, and he's willing you to pass, even though if you mess up in your writing or your assignment. I mean, except for the final, but he lets you like advise like your essay if you like messed up, and he can give you a bad grade. So decide to take a different professor instead of taking the one that is so ridiculous. Like try everything hard so that way you cannot pass this class. I don't feel that's right. But I don't know, man. Let's get into number 2, man. The number 2 craziest thing that has happened in my life. It's on the number 2 list. Aside from signing up with a difficult professor on accident. The second thing on my list, that the craziest thing that had ever happened in my life is running 50 miles, man, back in December of 2015. Oh my god, you ran 50 miles in just one day from morning to night? I'm like, am I even that tired? But let me explain like how I ran 50 miles. I mean, in 2012 to 2013, I ran like maybe 5 to 10 miles up on a hill. But I mean, running on hill is even tougher than running on flat terrain. But then in 2015, I ran all flat terrain 50 miles straight. I mean, I do take a break sometime, and then I just like do a light jog, and then I walk and jog. And then starting in like a few months after 2014, I think in the summer of 2015, it was pretty hot. I still ran about like 16 miles, right? And then I building up my endurance. I started running up to 25 miles, and then in late September, October, I started running up to 40 miles, and then ran 50 miles, and my leg gets so sore, and I couldn't even walk anymore. I couldn't even move. I totally like, my legs are so sore that I can't even move an inch because of the 50-mile run. That's like 2 marathons in one day. I mean, no superhuman can. I mean, this will probably even be hard for a professional to run 50 miles. I mean, not unless you're expert marathon runners, you can run 50 miles. But then my best mile time is around like 5 minutes or possibly maybe like close to like maybe 4:50 or something. Yeah, I do run ridiculously fast in the mile, but then I think there's like several reasons why I run 50 miles. Mainly because I have very good endurance, I have a lot of energy, and possibly because I was much lighter back then. But then as I get a little bit older, I get a little heavier and a little bit slower, so I run less. So recently, back in December of 2017, I don't run as much as comparing to 2015, mainly because I'm busier and I gain weight from the stress or something like that. Personal reason change. And yeah, I think on the last day of 2017, December 31st of 2017, I ran about like 30 miles, which is 20 miles less than the 50 miles ran in 2015. Yeah, so I don't run as fast and as long as before comparing to when I was younger. I think that was my best year, 2015, in physical fitness. I mean, running 30 miles is already good enough already. And also I run typically about the same pace as I did in 2015. I think in 2015 I ran like maybe like 12 or 13 minutes a mile. But in 2017, my minutes per mile was actually a little bit slower. Like ran 30 miles, but running at like an average of like maybe 14 minutes a mile. So 2015, I think it took me about like, I can't do math, like maybe 13 to 14 miles just to cover 50 miles run. Yeah, so I don't think that would ever happen again. I tried to run past 50 miles, but it's never gonna happen because my legs cannot handle that much work anymore. Well, even though I plan to get lighter and lighter, but still I won't make it. I mean, I trying to run for 60 miles, but it's just gonna stop at 50, and it gives up. You never know. Maybe I will pass 50 miles one of these days if I keep trying hard. But I don't want to overdo it, man. Because when I overdo, what if my muscle get permanently sore, and what if I get permanently sore? Why if I end up going to hospital? And that won't be the smart thing to do. Just don't overwork. Don't try over 100%. You can exercise, but you can try up to like maybe 90%. And if you go above 90, then the chances you're gonna risk your injuries. So just don't do it the dumb way. Do it the smart way, man. Stop at 50 miles. I mean, if you know that you're about to hit your limit, then you should probably stop exercising. That's what I'm saying, man. I think not many people can run 50 miles in this world. I mean, there's some people that can actually run over 100 miles, but it's just not possible. Anyway, here is the most craziest thing I ever done in my life. That is much more crazier than running 50 miles. Much more crazier. And much more crazier than signing a difficult professor in a lonely college. And crazier than like probably losing like 30 pounds. And even crazier than like getting injured from falling off the bike. The number one thing that just like happened recently in November of 2017. I was biking around like Lake Elizabeth and try to catch Pokemon, try to catch a legendary that I never caught. But then I went out. The reason why I have to stay out late at night by biking is because I want to catch Pokemon, right? And look like this Pokemon so hard to catch that I still have to go to gyms and battle and just to catch Pokemon. But as I was biking on the sidewalk, the car literally hit my bike because it was so dark that I don't think the driver can even see me. Yeah, I mean, if you want to hear about my bike accident, I mean, the biggest accident I ever got in my life, I think it's in one of my videos on YouTube. Okay, so here's exactly what happened. I'm showing you guys again once you watch this video. So I was riding my bike, right? I was like rushing to my home, and then the car was just waiting. It's just yelling to all of the automobiles on the street, right? Once the path is clear and I try and bike my home, and then the car like rush over and then hit my back wheel of my bike, and the bike got dent, right? So I think it happened around like 5 o'clock in November, like around like 5:30, 5:45. It was totally dark because of because we gain like 1 hour. That means instead of the sun going down at 6, it goes down at 5. So never go out late at night, man, or else you're more likely to bump into things, or more likely because car's gonna bump into you. Just imagine if I wasn't on the bike and if that car hits me, man, I would probably end up in the hospital, or probably get my limb amputated. That is gonna be no fun at all. This is no joke. And then I have to go to the bike store to replace. I think the one thing that my car hit my bike, and then yeah, it's probably my fault because I know I shouldn't be going late at night. It's just so stupid of me, man. Why would I go? I mean, I could have taken a safer path and to avoid getting hit by a car. I mean, I should have like biked inside Lake Elizabeth, not biking like outside of Lake Elizabeth. I mean, if I bike inside Lake Elizabeth, the chance of me getting hit by a car is less likely compared to like biking on the sidewalk, and then you bike on the driveway and then the car hits you. That car could have just killed me, man. Yeah, because I was so in a hurry that I have to rush home and got myself a bike accident, and then the driver like drives away, like trying to avoid the responsibility. I mean, it's kind of my fault too. Or if it's the driver's fault, they just want to get away from their responsibility, then this is one lucky thing, man. Luckily, I don't have to like to drag my bike because my wheels and my bike is totally ruined, and I have to go back to the store and I have to pay nearly $100 just to get my bike replaced, man. I mean, that is so stupid. You just waste $100 just to play Pokemon, man, and going out late at night. It's a stupid reason. Very stupid. And my parent asked me like, why am I so late at night? That's one thing I forgot to mention about my bike incident, man. The biggest incident I ever faced in my life. I even lied to my parent, saying that, oh, say, do we need to pick you up, Vince? And say, no, and say I'm fine. But I didn't tell them that I went to by accident. I even lied. See, that is another stupid thing I ever did in my life too. That really pissed my parents off, and it's pissing me off right now. Lying, man. I'm like, get that stupid habit out of your head right now. You know, if you keep lying, people are not going to trust you anymore. Like, why do you have to lie about your bike accident, man? If you know somebody will find out eventually, you shouldn't lie to people. It's really not healthy and good. I mean, this is why 2018 is not looking good so far, because I still lie to myself. That has to be get rid of, man. Or else life is not gonna be normal as ever. Don't know what's gonna happen, man. Maybe there'll be even crazier life than the car hitting the bike, than hitting my bike. Something crazy can even happen if the lie doesn't even stop. So anyway, man, top 5 things crazy in my life. So number 5 is so let me read again, just in case you guys forget, because it was a very long video, right? So number 5 is falling off the bike and scraping my body while biking around like maybe 10 or 11 miles an hour. And number 4 crazy thing in my life is that I lose around 30 pounds. And number 3 is I actually assigned a very tough professor that's willing not to let any student pass his course and doesn't care. And number 2 is that I ran 50 miles. That is a crazy thing to do. Recommend you don't try really hard in exercising. Don't try hard in everything, because eventually your body will give up one of these days. You try too hard because you have your limit. And number 1, just be careful, man. Just don't let the car hit you or anything hit you, or you don't bump into things. Yeah, bike accident, technically. Summary. So, peace out. Hope you like this video, and yeah, so maybe some of you might know me already, or some of you might not know this. So, peace. Can't wait to see your story or your comment.